Utah State basketball game is final, and now it's your chance to text and call about it with Al Lewis and John Russell as KVNU Aggie Game Day continues with Aggie Call. The numbers are 753-5868 for calls, and the text line is 435-339-0321. Aggie Call, part of KVNU Aggie Game Day for USU Hoops, is sponsored by Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat, LSS Insurance, Young Truck and Trailer, DD Auto and Salvage, My Mattress, Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning, Elements Restaurant, White Pine Funeral Home, Les Olson Company, Prodigy Brewing, Cache Valley Bank, Jarek's Fine Jewelry, Darrell's Appliance, HSA Depot, Advanced Fireplace and Stove, Alpine Home Medical, S.E. Needham Jewelers, Thermo Fisher, Primrose Home Care, and Golden Spike Electric. It's KVNU Aggie Call with Al Lewis and John Russell.
Well, going into the night, Utah State was one of three in the conference who were undefeated at home. UNLV down 9 at the break, brought it back 8-0 right at the start of the second half. Aggies were able to keep the lead. Finally, UNLV took their first lead in the second half, 66-65, but the Aggies close and win the game 75-71. A couple of key plays in the game. A charge drawn by Dan Akin was huge. Stephen Ashworth made a three. Sean Bairstow made an inbounds play with 2 seconds to go on the shot clock to give the Aggies a 4-point lead at that time. And Utah State's Shulga makes 2 free throws with 8 seconds to go to seal the game. It wasn't pretty. It was a battle, John Russell, in the Spectrum, but the Aggies win 75-71.
No doubt. Great win for the Aggies to see them. UNLV did not give up. They stayed in it and kind of mucked it up a little bit. They played the way the Aggies didn't want to play. They slowed it down. Very aggressive defensively, but so glad to see that the Aggies didn't fold, even going down by a few points there or late in the second half. They still hung on.
The Aggies never trailed by more than 2 in the early part of the game and 1 in the second half. They were down 66-65, scored as Atkins scored and then got a free throw at a 3-point play the old way with 3:43 to go to make it 68-66. And all the Rebels got the rest of the game was a 3 by McCabe. They missed a shot, and then they had 2 free throws and then a missed 3-pointer at the end of the game, and obviously they're down by 4, so that wasn't going to help them, and the Aggies win 75-71. Jalen Moore, it was a heck of a game, and a physical battle. Aggies had to hang in there because UNLV really does play physical. They're tough. They're tough to play against, and the Aggies were able to make just enough plays to get it done.
Yeah, exactly, and then that's a big win, and that's, like we said, that's one of the teams that we feel like kind of had our number with the athletes that could drive past us, and they tried to do the same thing, but our team, they held strong, and they did what they needed to do to win. Down the stretch, they made big shots. They made some big plays defensively. Obviously, we turned the ball over too many times, and UNLV got a lot of points off of turnovers. But, you look at it, that's pretty much the only negative in this game. The rest of it, we played well, and we shot high percentages. We out-rebounded them. We shot a good percentage from the free throw line. So we did what we needed to do it. And in the second half, when they picked up their defense, we matched their intensity. And when they went on their runs this game, unlike the Nevada game, we actually were able to answer their runs with runs of our own. And I think that's what was important.
You know what was a big position for us tonight in this game, Jalen? Was the number 5 spot. And, Akin played 4 a lot tonight. They used a lot of he and Dorius at different times. Even Zapala in the first half played some, and then Akin played 4. But the job that Dorius got in the first half and then Akin down the stretch, those were big plays by the down underneath the basket. And Dan had some taken away, but he also made some big plays in this game.
Yeah, he did. He had big and ones. He took the big charge towards the end of the game, and I thought he played well. And 9 and 9 off the bench, almost another double-double. He played really well, and I thought this was Trevin's one of his better games offensively. Obviously him not having a rebound, that's something we gotta fix up. But he had a few block shots, and he scores 10, which is big. And I thought those guys did an important job for us to come away with the win tonight. And obviously, you got to tip your hat to Funk in the first half. He alone, I think, went on an 11-0 run for us, and so I think that was a huge momentum swing for us in the first half as well.
And I was going to say, it was not a particularly good game at times for Bairstow and Shulga, but boy, those guys made big plays at the end of the game, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Obviously, a well-drawn-up play by Coach Odom and a well-executed by the guys, and got Sean a wide-open shot, and pressure's on, and he knocks it in, and Shulga hit some big free throws down the stretch, and like we say, it comes down to the little things, and the free throws are definitely the little things that it came down to at the end of that game, and we stepped up, and Schulga went up there and made big free throws, and like I said, Sean stepped up and made a big free throw line jumper off of the out-of-bounds play.
You know, Jalen, a lot of people are going to talk about how good the Vegas defense was, how athletic they were, how much pressure they put on the Aggies. But really, it seemed like the Aggies, when they needed a big stop, when they needed to really get that little momentum break, they were able to get it.
Yeah, we were, and that's what we couldn't do in the Nevada game, when they kind of went on their runs. Like we said, we couldn't get stops, and we couldn't answer their run with some runs of our own. And in this game, every time that UNLV went on a run and took the lead or got close to taking the lead and giving themselves a chance, we were able to answer that with a big stop or coming back down and getting a big basket and going on a run of our own. So I think our defense, kind of like what we and Al were talking about before the game and Coach Odom, I think our defense helps our offense go to it, and you could kind of see that in this game as well.
One of the big things, you look at the stat line, their big scorer, Harkless, really struggled tonight. Rough night.
He was frustrated.
And
mentally, he was not. He didn't have a very good night.
And they even thought he had fouled it out, and he had fouled. I mean, it was tough. But they had somebody turn around, and the freshman Hall
He had
a
not
big
played
game.
a conference game yet, and that freshman Hall killed us tonight with 19, made 2 free throws there at the end of the game.
Absolutely. And so, what did the Aggies do right with Harkless, and what happened with Hall?
Yeah, I think you guys pretty much just answered it. They just frustrated him, got him out of the game mentally. Basketball is very important to have a good mental state, and, they took him out of it mentally, and he got in foul trouble, and it just seemed like he never could get his feel in the game. And a lot of times, honestly, sometimes Idlerock did a good job on him being a bigger body and kind of bruising him around and making him work that way and stuff. So we just did a lot of good things to keep him out of the game. And then a guy like Hall, obviously, hasn't played a game in a while. Who knows if he's even on the scouting report, maybe towards the very end. And it's just someone that you don't really pay attention to, but, good player. And I guarantee you're going to see more of him for UNLV for sure.
Aggies won't forget him, that's for sure. So coming out of Vegas, there were a lot of folks, a lot of locals, kind of naysayers. I had people telling me, the Aggies just aren't what they thought they were. But turn around and get a big win. What does that do going into the next one, and especially being at home?
Yeah, big confidence boost. Obviously, in this conference, you got to protect your home court. And like I said, these type of teams kind of were what our 4 losses were made of athletes that can shoot a little bit and they can drive us off the bounce. And me and Al touched on that before the game. I thought this is another one of those teams that if we don't guard and don't play help defense and don't rebound, we're going to be in trouble. And we cleaned up those areas. And that's what you want to see. Like we said, when we lose games, UNLV came in here and they're a team just like Nevada. And when you lose, you want to learn from them. And it looks like our team, took those last 8-9 minutes where Nevada ran away with it, and they touched up what they needed to hold off a team that's capable. And that's what we showcased tonight. And obviously, like I was telling Al, we're going to have to continue to do that all season. Still got to play New Mexico, who's similar, Colorado State, San Diego State. And then obviously, you got to play some of the teams twice. So this is kind of what we're going to see. And I told Al you can even throw San Jose in that mix. Just to the way they play, too. So these are the teams we're going to see, and that's a big win for us.
Yeah, San Jose's athletic, and they'll be here again coming up for the game on Saturday at 4. Jalen, let's check your keys to the game. Handle Harkless. I think Harkless handled himself in some ways in this game. And again, the Aggies did a good job on him and didn't let him get any kind of things going, so that was huge. The athleticism, the turnovers for baskets, they did get a lot of points off of their we're fortunate to turn it over as much as we did, aren't we, and still win the game?
Yeah, very. I think we had 21 turnovers. At some point, I remember Spencer Nelson saying they had 27 points off of turnovers. So obviously, like we say, when we play the likes of New Mexico and San Diego State, who even have some better players, you get over about 16 turnovers against those teams, and we're probably going to actually be in trouble. But like I said, the biggest thing was that we did turn it over that much. And we still kept our cool and we did what we needed to do to win the game. So that's also a positive that you can take from this, even though they turned the ball over that many times.
And the pace of the game, I think Utah State played the game kind of how they wanted to play the game. Do you agree?
Yep, I agree. I think we've made Vegas play our pace of the game. Like we said, when we were taking care of the ball, running our plays and executing, Vegas definitely was playing at our pace, and I think that showed and it paid off in order for us to get a win tonight.
Thermo Fisher Scientific, again, they are hiring. You can go to job.thermofisher.com and search Logan. And they are an equal opportunity employer, making the world healthier, cleaner, and safer. Always one of our game day sponsors. Jalen, we'll talk to you then Saturday afternoon for the Aggies pregame show at 3, okay?
Awesome. Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
Aggies win tonight 75-71 over UNLV. Quite a basketball game in the Spectrum. Lots to talk about. You've got the text line available, 339-0321. So 435-339-0321. Our phone number is 753-5868, 753-KVNU. For call-in questions and all as game day continues. We'll also, of course, I'm sure hear from players and coaches up at the Spectrum from Coach Odom and all. And we'll review all of even the other scores in the conference tonight because everybody played except one more game tomorrow night. And then I think Fresno maybe had the week off, or this week off, I think is the way it worked out. We'll be back with more game day. Aggies win. That's a big one. They get to 4-2 in conference play and keep the home court spotless, and we'll be right back.
Copiers, printers, service, and supplies are just the beginning. Les Olson IT is the premier source for your business's structured cabling, IT, software, telephones, and security systems. We partner with you to find the ideal solution to all of your office technology needs. Tell us your goals and we'll get you there. Find out more at lesolson.com.
Les Olson IT.
Hi, this is Ashley with LSS Insurance. Turning 65 and ready to retire, but your spouse isn't 65 yet? We can help. We focus on health insurance so we can provide you the best possible service and information. Come the third Thursday, January 19th at 7 p.m. to our free seminar. We'll empower you with the information you need to make a confident decision. Come see us at LSS Insurance on the third Thursday, January 19th at 7 p.m. Call 752-9493 to RSVP. Of course, walk-ins are welcome.
Has inflation got you down? This is Zach with HSA Depot. Did you know you can save money by using your pre-tax income to buy qualifying medical supplies? Health savings and flex spending accounts can be used for more than just doctor visits and prescriptions. HSA Depot helps you conquer your health care by providing HSA and FSA eligible products, taking the guesswork out of the process. Come to HSA Depot next to Sally Beauty and see how much you can save. HSA Depot, 5-star review.
Thermo Fisher Scientific is hiring for their manufacturing, distribution, and warehouse team. And that's great news for anyone seeking a rewarding career. Thermo Fisher offers positions across multiple shifts, competitive compensation, health benefits, paid time off, bonuses, and an excellent work environment. Help Thermo Fisher make the world healthier, cleaner, and safer. Visit jobs.thermofisher.com and search Logan. Thermo Fisher Scientific is an equal opportunity employer.
We're heading into some crazy weather this winter, which means power outages. Tyler and his team at Golden Spike Electric can install a Generac automatic standby generator for your home so you can avoid issues when the power goes out. If you have one already, Golden Spike Electric can maintain your Generac automatic standby generator for you. Find them online at gsegenerators.com or call 435-257-3016. Golden Spike Electric and Generac automatic standby generators. Power you can count on.
Imagine your wedding day. Elegant, simple yet stunning, stress-free. It's your day. It's all about you. Whether you're looking for small and simple or have a grander idea, the Riverwoods Conference Center will accommodate your every need. Choose the inside ballroom elegance or outside along the natural decor of the beautiful Logan River. A Riverwoods event planner will work personally with you to make sure your event is exactly how you've envisioned it. The Riverwoods Conference Center, where your happily ever after begins. Google Riverwoods Conference Center or call 750-5151.
More analysis of today's game. It's KVNU Game Day. Here's the voice of the Aggies, Al Lewis and John Russell.
Appreciate you joining with us after this Aggie win, which was 75-71 over UNLV. Really, in this game, as it turned out, there were 5 lead changes, and it was tied 3 times. That's it. So 5 lead changes tied 3 times. So it doesn't sound like it was really that back and forth of a game, but the biggest lead we ever had was 9 in the game, and the biggest lead Vegas had was 2 at 2-0.
And Vegas did a good job in bringing it back. You know, never let us get that big lead that a lot of times, you always feel like it's going to happen in the Spectrum. I know the crowd felt like it was going to happen, that there were going to be that big break where all of a sudden we blew it out from 8 or 9 to 15, 18, something like that. Aggies had a chance. A lot of missed little layups.
Oh, there was a lot. Yeah, in fact, I've right here, missed by Dorius. How about Ashworth missing the layup there late in the basketball game? Bairstow missing a layup right there in about the last 7 minutes of the game. Ashworth, Bairstow, all of them right at the rim. And then the miss by Dorius there with about 2.5 minutes to go in the game. We had a 10-0 run and an 11-0 run in the first half. They had an 8-0 and a 6-0 run in the second half. That's really about it for runs in this game tonight for this one. So.
But again, always in a situation not letting the other team do it. This is a game. There were a lot of open shots the Aggies had. They did, a lot of energy. The spectrum was great. By the way, fans, once again, the students were just solid. A blackout tonight. They won in the black jerseys. Let's not forget that. That's a good thing.
Maybe we can just throw that away for now and not even think about it. They win in the black jerseys. Football, basketball hasn't been good lately.
Not good, but they did tonight. And the students were phenomenal. Beginning to worry a little bit about the crowd, whether we feel like we're L.A. or something, because they like to be that late arriving crowd.
In there. And then I wondered, you got all three of the high school, or all six of the high schools all playing tonight too. So some fans could be pulled away with sons, friends, neighbors, things that they support there too.
So, but a lot of energy.
So the building was great.
Good crowd. Yeah, they did a good job, and they were loud when they needed to be. And again, I'm appreciative of the students and what they do.
They announced 76-11 for the attendance tonight at the Spectrum. Our postgame brought to you by Cache Valley Bank. Remember, they want to understand your unique needs and then craft solutions to fit your business or your individual financial needs. It's Cache Valley Bank, one of our really good sponsors. Anything in the text line so far?
Absolutely.
Let's go there.
Everybody's excited.
435-339-0321.
2070. And I'm going to let you finish and see if you agree. Play of the game was?
Well, the Bairstow jumper.
Yeah. Good point. The 2070
because we only have 2 seconds left shot clock, and you're only up 71-69. Maybe giving them back the ball with no shot clock. We foul them now. They were to 17 fouls the next one, so they get 1 and 1 out of it. I don't know how we play that. So
2070 thought it was Akin taking the charge.
Oh well, that was a big
right
play.
Up there too.
That was with 53 seconds to go after we'd just gone up 71-69 on Ashworth's 3-point shot.
So 2 huge plays, big plays down the line.
Well, when you have a 4-point game,
every play's
because
big.
Dan got a free throw off of the one where it was a lane violation that Kruger thought that we had violated too. He said everybody violated, and they gave him another chance. Cushioned that a little bit when he made that to make it 68-66 rather than 67-66.
And that makes a big difference.
And that can make a difference.
It's huge.
Close game,
2070 followed up. He is so vital to us defensively. Makes a difference. He is, but again, you talked with Jalen about it. Dorius, super solid. He did not get any rebounds, and we need to get boards out of him, but he was still a presence in the middle, and that makes a big difference.
And we took advantage of their defense early in the game, switching to have little guards on him. We just lob it into him and let him score. They had to adjust, and they changed. There were a few times late in the game where that happened, and we couldn't quite get the pass back to him, and I think maybe that's what they were trying to do a couple of those times inside when he didn't score.
He controlled it early in the game.
He's still, between he and Dan, like I said, the post position wasn't too bad tonight. Dan better. He's still got to be better with the ball security at times, and he's got to finish a little bit better, but he did come through and make some really big plays for this. And Dan can follow everybody around the court. He'll guard a guard.
Yeah. And that's what, there was one play I remember, it was in the second half where one of their guards had an open shot, and Dan went flying out.
He did.
Guy had to pull it back, and Dan still got back on his defensive man, so that was good. 6-5-4-3, we need a better second-half team. If we play this bad in Vegas, we'll get blown out.
Yes, and we'll be back there. I was just looking that up. That'll be the 1st of March. 1st of March in Vegas. And then we're going there for the tournament right after that, too.
And, the crazy thing is you look at all the games, we're excited about the second game. But, they agree. They're going to have to play better in the second half. 8-3-8-7, exciting win. Glad to see us keep our composure. Coach, question, is the lack of taking care of the ball a coaching thing? Seems like frequently when we get a defensive rebound, we're always trying to sprint down court and speed ourselves up.
Well, we want to be able to – our transition offense works if we can get a stop and get down the floor. I know you've heard Coach Odom talk about that. You should have seen practice yesterday. They had everybody they could swatting at guys with the ball with padded bat type things and nets and all. They were trying to simulate what it would be like to try to handle the basketball against these guys. They told them, and Coach Odom said that they would steal your ball, and it was going to be big. And we still overcame giving up all those points off of turnovers.
Well, that leads to the next question. This came from 0700. When was the last time we had 21 turnovers or a 10 turnover margin and still won?
I wouldn't be able to tell you that off the top of my head, and that's a good point. It's kind of the same thing as we talked about when it was the last time the Aggies won a game and didn't have a starter score double figures, and that's happened this year in a game too. So,
well, a lot of times though, when you see something like this, every once in a while in the season, there's a game you shouldn't have won. And if I just throw those numbers out there, because they played a lot well in other areas, but if I just said, Al, they're going to have 21 turnovers, you're going to say they lost.
Well, Jalen and I both talked about it. You start to get to where it gets to 16, 17, 18. That's kind of hard on you. 19 against Oral Roberts was our high earlier, and we still won that game too.
Yeah. 0700 followed up. Z Hamoda, a lot of people wondering where.
Sick.
I believe he was sick.
They did finally let us know that he was sick.
Yeah. So he
had to be really sick. He practiced yesterday when we were up there to talk to the coach. I saw him practicing.
And this is a game where we really needed him, where they had the athleticism. Mm-hmm. Who knows what had happened?
And he's played well at home.
Yeah. And so this is a tough one. And again, 0700, I think Dorius should have played a few more than just the first 4 minutes. He got that foul right at the 16-minute mark. And I'm sure what Coach was thinking is, I don't want to leave him out there. He plays 4 minutes, and there's a reason he does. He probably tires out, and that's when you get the cheap foul. That's when you get the one.
And he did get the one there late in the game when he saw the ball was available, when Hall got fouled there at the end of the game and made the 2 free throws. He put the ball up here, the young kid did, and he tried to grab it, and then he went across his face rather than he almost could have taken it out of his hands up over the top. But Dorius just was trying to make one more play right there.
Yeah, but that's what I love about Dorius. He tries, and that's what it's about. I'm going to keep going until you tell me to stop.
We need to take a break. And we do have Stephen Ashworth now from up at the Spectrum, so we'll get back with that. Again, Aggies 75-71 over UNLV, and we'll check those other scores before we go to Stephen when we come back on our Aggie Call postgame. Again, it's 435-339-0321 for the text, and you can get us there, or 753-5868. But we're going to go to Stephen Ashworth when we come back after this break.
Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat is locally owned and operated inside the beautiful new Three Peaks Medical Plaza in North Logan. Expect the most cutting-edge techniques, qualified doctors, and friendly staff to ensure the highest quality patient care. The ENT providers have extensive training to properly treat ear, nose, and throat conditions for adults and children. Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat serves all of northern Utah and southern Idaho, accepting most insurance products including SelectMed. Go to CacheValleyENT.com for appointments and details. Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat, located in North Logan and Providence.
It's never too late or too cold to get rid of that old vehicle. Now is the time to earn extra cash by calling DD Auto and Salvage. Let them pay you for that junk vehicle. DD Auto and Salvage makes it so easy and fast to get rid of your junker vehicles by paying you the most money possible. Pickup is available. If you have metal, DD Auto and Salvage in Logan wants to pay you today. Call 787-1204. That's 787-1204 today. See store for details.
It's that first kiss, that moment in time.
It's that look in her eye when you get the first sign.
We make it personal, you know when it's real.
Something for everyone, we know how you feel. Jarrett's fine jewelry, make it special, make it Jarrett's.
Why schedule your appliance repair with Daryl's? Because we are factory trained and have experience and parts in stock to get your appliance fixed efficiently and quickly. Hi, I'm Brian, the service manager at Daryl's. We guarantee your satisfaction and promise to give you the 5-star service you deserve. Remember, we can compete with their price, but they can't compete with our service. Daryl's, west on Airport Road. Open till 6 on weekdays, 5 p.m. on Saturdays.
See Daryl's Appliance in beautiful downtown Benson.
It's KVNU Aggie Game Day, brought to you by White Pine Funeral Home on News Talk KVNU.
Heck of a ball game. John Russell got a chance to see most of it in the Spectrum, and a lot of you enjoyed it tonight. They said 7,600 plus. Students were great, and blackout, the uniforms, the black uniforms, the Aggies won at 75-71. We'll get to Stephen Ashworth in just a moment from up at the Spectrum. But Lisa was nice enough to call with us, and Lisa, you said you had a question, so go ahead.
I do. Yeah. Hi, Al. Hi, John. I heard you say that the 21 turnovers was a season high, but I was curious as to how many points were scored off of those turnovers.
It was 27, I think it was. I can get the stats
That's a great question.
I will tell you right now. Vegas scored 27 points off of the 21 turnovers. They committed 11, and we scored 16. So they got plus 11 out of that turnover area to make the game a little closer. Let's see. Second chance points, we only got 3. They had 6, so they had a little bench. And their bench hit 42 points, or 38 points.
Oh, wow.
Our bench only 13. But remember, Ashworth not on our bench anymore. That makes a lot of difference there.
Sure.
But that was the point.
Yeah.
It was 27 points off of turnovers.
Yeah, that's a huge margin. I mean, you can imagine getting rid of even half of those turnovers.
Yes.
And then my last question, if I have time, I was wondering about that play where 55 from UNLV fouled, but then he came back into the game. Did they reverse that?
Yes, they did. They went back and decided it was another player who got the foul. He was over yelling at his coach. Told him to. One of the assistants told him to sit down.
Yes.
He was yelling at his own coach that I didn't foul and I shouldn't be out of the game. And the other guy goes sit down and all that. But then they decided it was somebody else. So.
Yeah, I saw him. I was kind of fighting for that. Anyway, great game, great atmosphere. Hopefully we can lower the turnovers next game, but you guys are great, and I appreciate you. So thank you very much.
Lisa, that's so nice of you to call in. It's nice to hear somebody different. Again, 753-KVNU is our number. And, John, let's check the other scores in the league. Okay?
Absolutely. 4 games on tap tonight. Utah State, as you know, 75-71. Boise State took care of Nevada.
They're playing.
That game in Boise.
It was in Boise.
Playing
so
really well.
They're still undefeated at home. We're still undefeated at home. And Nevada is still undefeated at home because that was at Boise.
Yep. 77-62. Rice for Boise had 29 points, so big game for him. Air Force, watch out, folks. Air Force at home beats Wyoming 82-74. You know, again, Wyoming's still struggling without EK. Once he comes back.
Did Air Force win that game then?
They did, 82-74. So
Wyoming had a pretty good lead early in the game.
Yeah, well, they were up. They were up at half. And then New Mexico, that's the team you got to watch out for. They are. A lot of people say San Diego State. New Mexico scares me. They're a good ball club. They're 4-2 in the Mountain West, 17-2 overall, and they beat a good San Jose State team, 77-57.
San Jose will be here Saturday, and we only get New Mexico here. We don't go to the pit this year, which might be an advantage.
Yeah, that's a good thing,
obviously. And but and remember, UNLV went to New Mexico and beat them.
Yeah,
earlier this year. How about that?
Well, it's great in the Mountain West. There's just every game is up for grabs, and you've got to take care of it. Big game tomorrow night. So if you don't have anything, Colorado State hosting San Diego State.
Yep. Got a caller, and I forgot. Was it Shane? Was that right, Shane? Who was the caller? Oh, now he hung up. He was there.
Maybe he'll come back.
Okay, let's go to Stephen Ashworth up in the Spectrum, brought to you by Young Truck and Trailer Center out on the highway. And again, Stephen Ashworth, again, was out there in the midst of all of this. And his first comment, I think, is somebody said, what did you think of this game?
It was like a video game out there. So much fun just watching him shoot it like it was a workout, and me just push the ball, like thinking the entire time, where's Taylor? And he was hitting, and it was huge for us in the first half to get us off to the start that we needed. We knew that they were a team that was really, really physical and could go on their runs, and so I think that was massive in the first half to have a performance like that to kind of get us all settled in and ready for the battle that we were a part of.
It was a pretty chaotic game through and through. When things are so often not going according to plan, how do you navigate through that as a team?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that in previous circumstances we didn't navigate it. I think as recent as last game we didn't navigate it the way that we wanted to, and so we watched film, we had the hard talks, and it's never easy to watch something like that. And so I think by going through it before, we were able to learn for this game that obviously in that second half there were way too many turnovers. I felt like myself was a big part of that in the second half. Some of them just very uncharacteristic, I believe. And so I think from there, the biggest point is then communicating, making sure that we're staying together and keeping our confidence as a team, because we know how great we are, and we know that we can have that second half gene, you might say.
What adjustment did they make defensively in the second half that was causing those problems?
I think a lot of it was they tend to come in waves. They're a really aggressive team, and I think that we like to play aggressive at times, and you can get winded, and so then some of that aggression fades until you can get your momentum. And I think that in the second half, by getting transition buckets and transition threes, that fuels their fire, and that was part of their biggest maybe difference from the first and second half that allowed them to kind of get after it. And then part of that is just us making sure that we take care of the ball better, crisp passes, pass and catch, and then play off of 2 feet when we get in the lane.
It seemed like they were doubling more in the paint as well, down there to Dan. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, a lot of it is making sure that we communicate to those guys, especially if we're trying to look high-low and that weak side guy's coming. We also could look a little bit more to those skip passes if we know that that double team is coming immediately. And I think that by watching film and recognizing some of those things, that we can be more prepared for it when teams make adjustments like that.
Was there any particular adjustment they made with Taylor, because he goes off for 20 in the first half, then wasn't as involved, didn't take too many shots? Were you guys like trying to take advantage of them, focusing on him by going elsewhere?
I think that our motto as a team is the open guy's the go-to guy, and in the first half he was open a lot, especially in transition. I think in the second half we didn't have as many transition opportunities, which limited Taylor a little bit. And at the same time, we were talking in halftime, and Taylor's a mature guy. He's played basketball for a lot of years. He understood that he was going to be a focus and gave the confidence to the other guys in the locker room to make sure that they were being aggressive and playing on attack mode, because we were going to have some of those driving lanes open with him spacing the floor so well for us. And so I think ultimately, though, there's definitely ways that we got to make sure that we look to him and make sure that we get him more attempts in the second half, especially with how hot he was in the first half.
Steven, take us through those final plays of the game, your shot, Sean's shot, and just the overall feeling of pulling out a close one.
Yeah. I honestly can't remember where we were. I knew we were down by 1 when I hit that three-pointer. There was some type of action where they got mixed up on a switch, and I was able to fade kind of out to the top of the key, and I think there was about 5 seconds left on the shot clock, and I knew that it was good, and so I let it go, and it dropped, put us up by 2, and then come back down. Massive charge by Dan. There was a big body down low trying to take it to him and get the quick 2. Dan played great defense. I think that was right about the minute mark. Come down, execute well, get into the lane, looking for an open guy to kick out to. Couldn't find it, call a quick timeout. Sean makes a great bucket. Coach has a great play that we executed well. Right from point to point to point. We had option 1, it wasn't there. Option 2 wasn't there. So we knew option 3 was going to be there, and Sean hit a big time shot, and then, free throws down the stretch.
That was it. And from Stephen Ashworth, and his shot went with 1:05 to go. The Atkins charge was at 53 seconds. Timeout at 24 seconds. Bairstow with a jumper, 22 seconds to go. Stephen had almost a double-double the last time I checked the stats in this game, too.
Yeah, I think he only ended up 9 assists.
9 assists instead of 10.
This season's just going to get harder and harder for him. You can't just run him off screens anymore.
Well, you're the
Everybody
number 1
understands
three-point
it,
shooter in the country. Everybody's going to go after you, too.
And so you saw that tonight. They were very physical with him. They were not letting him get around the screens. They were fighting through the screens. And that's what it's going to come down to the rest of the year, which means other guys have got to step up. And tonight, as you mentioned, a couple of guys hit shots. Bairstow's bucket was just and you know what? I love the fact that what Ashworth had to say, that play was written up perfectly.
Well, you have an inbounds place are thinking you got one place to go, and if it's not there, you do something else. No, you got one option. You got options off of inbounds plays. And I know at times this year, Coach Odom's been a little frustrated about inbounds plays when guys have just had to throw the ball way out front to just kind of do things because nothing would really work.
You saw that late in the second half where this play, Ashworth had to go all the way to the other side of the court, but couldn't have written up that play. It was executed perfectly.
And Concierge Health Service in the comfort of your home is from Primrose Home Care and Hospice. They bring you our postgame 75-71. James is joined with us. Hi, James. It's nice to talk to you again. What's up?
Hi, gentlemen. Good win for us tonight. A little too close for comfort, but we'll take it. The one thing that we're finding is that we are in a tough conference, aren't we? We're going to have tough games like this all the time. I'm curious, Al, wanted to ask you, it seemed to me like they were getting a lot of points in the paint. Do you have any...
Yeah, I can tell you that,
Have you
too.
talked about that already?
No.
It just seemed to me they were getting a lot of points in the paint tonight.
42-26. At the half,
okay,
the points in the paint, I wrote it down, I thought, in the half. I thought I did, and maybe I didn't write that down tonight. I usually do. It seemed like it was much closer at the half with points in the paint, but they got 42 so they were plus 16 points in the paint. They get all those extra points off. I don't know how we won the game.
Yeah.
but we did.
Yeah, it was good. You know, I think Stephen was talking about it, but they did keep their composure down there towards the end, didn't they? They kept fighting. They kept going after it. They wanted to win. I sensed a lot of confidence there. I didn't see any defeat in their face, so I was really happy with that. So glad they got the win tonight. It was a tough game.
Anything else, James?
No, thanks, Al.
Okay, it was nice to have you talking. And I just hung up on one of the callers, and another caller called earlier and hung on for a while, and then left us. But
well, two great comments. Our last two callers, I mean, great comments. In fact, Lisa brought up, you don't win games when you have 21 turnovers. You just don't do it, and especially when they get 27 points off those turnovers. And then, as James just said, points in the paint. But the game changed a little bit. Early on, Dorius really dominated the paint, but he can't go those long minutes. I've said this earlier.
Yeah, he can, and Coach knows that, and Trevin knows that, and everybody knows that. But then, and then they did switch.
Yep.
They did make a defensive switch to kind of take some of that stuff away where they were switching five all over the place, and we were ended up with
But they're a
Dorius
very
being covered by a
aggressive,
guard.
athletic team, and they did like getting in the paint there.
Yep. Jack wants to join with us tonight. Jack, go ahead. You're on Aggie Call postgame. Aggies win 75-71.
Thanks, guys. Relative to them getting so much in the paint, they were beating us off the dribble over and over.
Well, that's been a little bit of a theme, hasn't it, Jack, in games
it sure has.
this year? Yeah.
It sure has, and I applaud the coaching staff for going to the zone at one point to try to cut that off. I thought they waited a little too long to go to the zone and maybe came out of it again a little too quickly. But then, if you notice the last few possessions, they went back to that zone so that they couldn't just drive into the paint and shoot up over us.
Yeah, because you have more bodies in the way. Yeah.
That was key. I think that was really key. But we gotta stop turning the ball over so much, and that's easier said than done, especially against a bunch of hackers like UNLV. Man, they were swiping and slapping at everything.
That's the way they play. That's their season. Yeah,
it is, and I think the Coach Odom did a good job of preparing them for that and saying, look, this is how they're going to play you. You better be ready.
And there were a couple times that guys got blindsided from the side. They didn't expect anybody to be there. And sometimes you grab a rebound and you think, okay, I'm going to turn an outlet, and somebody was right there in the way. They had 14 steals in their turnovers tonight, too. So that's a huge number.
Yeah, no question. And some of those steals involved getting an arm, too. But
yeah, they did.
But they don't, like John said, they can't call everything.
Well, and how did you like the way there was one time Bairstow was driving in on the left side, and the guy grabbed his arm, and it was right at the officials, and they didn't even make a call on that play, and
I
just
know.
let it go.
That was an obvious one.
The officials did
a great college game.
Yeah, it was, and
great
the officials.
Outcome, so we're all happy.
And I was going to say the officials didn't really affect this game, which was good too. So, all right, thanks. Anything else, Jack? Okay, it's nice to hear from you. And again, we're on postgame, and we're waiting for more from the Spectrum. We're waiting. We can call 339-0321 is our text line if you'd like to get there. And the phone number, we've had some calls tonight on Aggie Call postgame. Again, as the Aggies win 75-71, and we'll be right back on game day on KVNU.
It's cold outside, but you can keep warm inside with a quality-built, super-efficient York furnace. Count on a furnace from York because it's backed by the strongest warranties available. It's just another way we install confidence. confidence. Call Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning, your local York dealer, at 752-7272. Online at advancedheating-ac.com. York, install confidence.
We're not comfortable until you are. Advanced Heating and Air.
Experience Sunday brunch at Prodigy Brewing on Center Street. Churro French toast, beignets and berries, and everyone's favorite chilaquiles. A delicious combination of eggs, house-made enchilada sauce, tortilla chips, avocado, and pico. Brunch has an all-new meaning of tasty when you visit Prodigy Brewing. Served Sundays 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., Prodigy's atmosphere is vibrant, energetic, and friendly. Whether it's with family or friends, Sunday brunch at Prodigy Brewing is a delicious experience. Prodigy Brewing, exceptional food, extraordinary service, and family-friendly on Center Street in downtown Logan.
Experts tell us that the 3 areas of balance for proper health are exercise, nutrition, and sleep. This is Ryan, owner of My Mattress, and while My Mattress store can't really help with exercise and nutrition, we can help with better sleep. If a person started today to live a balanced life in health, exercise, and sleep, 3 things might happen. 1, we might throw away the bag of peanut M&Ms that we have stashed. 2, we might get up off the couch and exercise. And 3, we'd come buy a new mattress here at My Mattress.
Hi, this is Tyler. Recently, my father passed away, and White Pine provided the funeral services for our family. They were friendly, thoughtful, and attentive to every detail. You know, it isn't often that a loved one passes away, so it was very important to my family that everything be handled just right. Because my dad was loved by so many people, we had a lot of family and friends that traveled from out of town. I really appreciate how White Pine Funeral Services made sure everyone was comfortable and that the focus was where it needed to be, on my dad and my family. They really took care of us during this tender time.
As a small business, achieving your financial goals and ambitions can be a steep and rocky mountain to climb. This is Brett Green, president of Cache Valley Bank. To conquer this mountain and achieve your goals, it takes planning, hard work, and discipline. At Cache Valley Bank, we have the resources, expertise, and flexibility to help you scale your way to success. Give us a call. Let's work together and climb the mountains that await. Cache Valley Bank, member FDIC.
Aggie Game Day continues. Sponsored by Advanced Fireplace and Stove on News Talk KVNU.
Aggies win tonight, and we mentioned some of the other conference wins. New Mexico, Boise State, and Air Force were the other winners tonight. And again, tomorrow night, Colorado State and San Diego State. High schools tonight, Skyview held off Logan 62-52. It was Ridgeline 55, Bear River 50. And Mountain Crest beat Green Canyon in 2 overtimes, 78-73. So those are the finals from Regional 11 tonight. And let's see, we're brought to you post-game by S. Needham Jewelers. Again, downtown Logan, middle of the block, sign of the clock. Again, the Diamond Engagement Ring store, the state's oldest jewelry store. And, John, what else is in the text line?
Yeah, got a few more. This one comes in from 9315, talks about I lost my spot there. You think black uniforms are not the answer? I kind of like them, but we won.
I know.
If we don't, then I'm not going to like them.
I know players like them.
Yeah.
I know they like that to have the, and most teams now have some black scheme that they use once in a while if they can. Yeah,
they get away from the white.
I'm glad they finally won with the black uniform.
93-15 again, edge of your seat kind of game, which was good. And responded, how do you teach a team to be more physical? And I think just playing in games like this is what's going to teach you.
We really got out-physicaled about the first 6 or 7 minutes of the second half.
Yes.
I felt like they really went after, and we responded. We kind of against Nevada during that run, it kind of seemed like we backed off a little or whatever. We responded and got right back into that. I credit, R.J. Idlerock. Tonight
Played
he got
well
in there, and he was big enough body that they couldn't push him around, and Dan and some of those guys, and I like that.
Yeah, absolutely. But the home court advantage, that makes a big difference too. That you get on the road and you start getting bullied a little bit, you tend to shrink back a little bit. Tonight, crowd was in it. Anytime Vegas started to make a little run, got a little more physical, it seemed like the students especially were like, hey, you think it's 5-on-5? No, it's more like 4,005 on 5. The 5180 runaway games are great, especially on my heart, but gritty, messy, 1 or 2 possession games like this are way more important. And we would what we would expect in conference play.
Oh yeah, you get to the tournament, if you're going to win games at the Mountain West tournament, you're going to have to win games.
You're
like
not going to
this.
have this. And good point here. From 5180, the Nevada game perhaps highlighted some weaknesses, and here we showed we can go toe to toe with a physical team. Good win, go Aggies.
To be honest, I would take Lucas and Blackshear over anybody on the Vegas team, though.
Yeah.
I mean, even Harkless. Now, again, he wasn't his normal deal. He's had 21-point games and stuff. But those two guys are really good players. And Baker, of course, went out. He
had a great game, and to be a 7-footer to be able to do that. So, no, good way to come back.
But then Boise must have handled them all pretty well. Boise's on a really good roll. They're cutting down people, and Rice is going crazy now. And we got him started. He got some shots against us, and he's now out of his head. You know, he's one of those kind of guys. If he's on your team, you'll love him. If he's not on your team, you can't stand him. You know?
Exactly.
And that's
53-28. Interesting to see Zappala get an early cameo appearance.
Yeah, I think we were trying.
Process.
I think we were trying to take advantage of maybe the matchups that they were trying to do with switching and everything, and you have a bigger guy out there. Shimon is just not skilled enough offensively maybe to do that. And then, he got in the way a little bit, ran over somebody on one foul, I think, one time.
And it's tough. He hasn't played in how many games?
He hadn't played since the Washington State game.
That's tough.
Yeah, he hadn't played since Hawaii.
53-28 also thinks there ought to be a 4-point line for Funk. Because he did take one
he finally went out too far.
But then he went a little too far.
But he was way behind the line on a lot of those shots tonight. Yeah. Advanced heating and air conditioning, again, they're conditioning. They can come in and do a conditioning on your unit to make sure it's running as it's supposed to. But they also, of course, can get you a brand new heating and cooling system for your home business if you need it, if you've had problems. Again, they're one of our game day sponsors, Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning. Give them a call tomorrow. You can always remember their number, because what do you want to stay in your home? 752-7272 is their phone number. And now the coach.
Great game, great basketball game, in general. Obviously UNLV is a really good team, very well coached. They play extremely aggressive on defense. And, they were poking balls early. We talked about before the game, it's hard to prep in practice. You can't replicate what they do, right? And how they play, on defense. And show all the film, over and over again, and get the guys to understand how aggressive they are at just trying to put pressure on you and take your ball. And through passing lanes or just general pressure on you when you have the basketball and you rebound it, they're coming after it. They're just always there coming after you. And, there were certainly moments and times within that game where our guys did a really nice job with it, as evidenced by 21 assists. And there were some times, obviously, that we didn't. And, that's something that you see when you watch UNLV play most teams. They have a knack for doing that. They're really, really good at it. And there's a ton of plays within that game where the Aggies had to answer. UNLV gave us every ounce of effort, and they tried to win. Basically, they were playing to win. That game. Coming in at 1-4, having lost on a half-court bank shot that goes into OT, and then they have to play OT, and then that, obviously doesn't end, the right way, and to come in here, and we knew we were going to be facing, a very determined, not desperate, but a very determined team. And, our goal was to be just as determined, if not more. We were coming off a very hard loss at Nevada, where we felt like we were right there, and then all of a sudden it just went haywire on us. And Nevada had a lot to do with that. And we wanted to hold serve here, at home and play a good basketball game. Obviously, the rotations were different tonight. Losing Ryland, is always a tough loss for us. Having Z out, for this particular game, he's just got a, regular illness, that we all get. Woke up this morning and just didn't feel well. And so we expect, I would expect him to be back, Saturday. Hopefully he's feeling a little bit better, but he couldn't go into the game and wasn't even able to go to shoot around. And so, that obviously shortened our bench. Was a really big bench, all of a sudden is, dwindled down a little bit. And, we had to play guys big minutes. When you're playing against pressure defense like that, it's going to take its toll. And, they were certainly, that's why we had to use all of our timeouts just to give them a blow. Obviously, they were making runs and had taken the lead on a couple of those. But, we had to get our guys, a little bit of a rest there so they could attack the next play. And I thought the execution, for us out of those timeouts was very good, down to the last one with 2 seconds. Sean made some big baskets, and we got just enough stops to just hold them off, there at the end. They had some great play from McCabe and Hall, obviously. Gilbert, it was really tough driving to the basket. And certainly we caught a break there with Webster and Harkless not being able to play as much. Happy to answer any questions.
What's the word on Z and Ryland? What are they looking like? Obviously said Z.
Yeah, Ryland's still out. We're hoping Z's going to be back Saturday. Yeah, we should hopefully have him back. We'll just have to see, though. Once we see him tomorrow and Leah checks him, hopefully he's made a little bit of a turn.
Interesting. Trevin really gets you going early.
Yeah.
Obviously, Funk heats up.
Yeah.
Has a tough second half, but you get, like you already mentioned Bairstow, but Bairstow even hits big shots.
Yeah.
She'll struggle at times, but he finished really strong. It was just really a team effort.
Yeah, it was, and RJ had moments too. Like RJ played well and handled the ball well, and made some good plays, getting fouled right in transition, a couple of times. And we needed every play. Trevin attacking the switches early in the game, right, and rolling down in there and posting up, was a big factor for us. We were able to throw it in there and get some easy baskets, and then that opened up some for Taylor. And we had to try to play in the middle of the floor as much as we could, because once you get on the side, that's where a lot of the turnovers end up happening, because they funnel you down to that baseline, and they're very good at just putting their bodies on you and getting in there and stealing it. But Trevin was great.
They were defensively really loading up the post in the second half. You've seen that a couple times now this season. How are you able to respond to that?
What do you mean load? What are you talking about?
You've got help coming in on pick and rolls. You've got them. They're really.
You talking about our offense or their offense?
When you are on offense, their defense, they're really kind of loading up on the pick and rolls.
Yeah.
And helping in. How do you respond to that, and how are you able to adjust?
Yeah, we have to be a little bit better, quite honestly. But they're good at that. Like that's what they do. And they're like, I'm not sure if we had a charge today. I don't think we did. Like they take charges every game, like literally every game. They're one of the top in the country at it. And because what you're talking about, when you drive down the lane, whether it's started by a pick and roll or you just beat your man, right? They're coming over to help. And they got a couple of steals on that, and coming over on the dribbler. And so we practice that over and over again, just stopping. What we can read better is the passes behind. That's why we were in the middle and Taylor was getting some of those threes behind. The driver was going down there and he was stopping and throwing it back out, because they do help so much. But they did a much better job in the second half of eliminating that, right? They stopped running at it as much. And they did a better job of staying home and making it a little bit harder.
Those first 6 minutes or so of the second half where UNLV's really turned up the defense, USU's having trouble even getting a shot up.
We were turning it over. Yeah, they were knocking it loose, and they were going the other direction.
Dan Atkin and RJ, I believe, checked into the game roughly around the same time, if not at the same time. Kind of return that physicality. Was that the intention to kind of just return the physicality? Yeah, Max,
had a couple of turnovers there, and I wanted to give him a second to get his head right, and then put him back in there. And certainly he wasn't the only one that made mistakes early in that half. But coming out of halftime, we scored a 3, to end the half. So we've got to execute on the first play. We didn't execute on the first play. We ended up with a turnover. And. We can't do that, if we want to be a great team, and he can't be a great player, if he does that, and he knows that, and so he came out, and then we put him right back.
There's the coach after the game. Again, as we mentioned, appreciate Jason Walker and the others for getting us those recordings back from the Spectrum after the coach and player. So I guess it was just Steven and the coach after the game in this really thrilling 75-71 win. A good win for this team. You do have to remember that UNLV now is 1-5 in conference play, so they're not among the contenders. The way the season started, obviously, they were one of the last 7 undefeated teams in the country, along with us in New Mexico at that particular time out of our league and stuff. So they had their best non-conference they've had since the year after they won the national championship in 1990 and 1991, I think it was. So, they're a good team. And they're so hard to play the way they do that. But again, Aggies were able to prevail in a big game at home when they needed that.
When they needed to.
Because again, I think they all felt like, the last 10 minutes of the Nevada game, they just that was not really our response wasn't very good there.
Well, I think there's one thing you take from both those games. That's how good the Mountain West is this year. UNLV is struggling. You talk about their record. That's still a quad 2 win, which is important. You look at a game like UNLV where the Aggies just got stomped there in that run. They have to be prepared for that every other game. But Nevada then goes to play Boise, who's playing well, and got beat pretty handily. You look at a team like Wyoming that a lot of folks thought were going to cause some problems. They were going to make some noise. And granted, they have injuries. But once EK comes back,
or if he does,
that's the
point. Is it worth it to him?
Yeah, at this point, I don't know. But Air Force is 3-3. I mean,
Air Force has won 2 road games last week among their 3 now.
So a lot of questions, and I think it's with each game, this team's going to have to recognize and try and identify, what they need to do better. There's going to be no. We come in, and if we beat San Jose on Saturday and it's a great win and everybody's excited, it doesn't mean a thing. You've got to come back and be prepared for your next game.
Which is San Diego State.
Yeah,
which
you'll
get prepared for that. And then you got at Fresno. So the next week we got the 2 at home. This week we go 2 on the road next week because we got San Diego State on Wednesday and then to Fresno on Saturday next week. And then we'll get New Mexico at home the next week and then go to Colorado State. So that's and then we'll have a home San Diego State and on the road at San Jose the next week after that. And then the next week after that, we play Air Force and Nevada at home then we go to Wyoming and then we get our bye.
Yeah.
On a Saturday, I think is the way it worked out.
It's a rough schedule. And regardless, you look
we
up
got
and
the
down.
first bye when we came home from Hawaii and don't get another one until about week, like maybe 15 or 16 on the rotation.
So the big questions, and we heard Coach talk about this, is Ryland going to come back?
We'll have to.
And we just don't
know. It doesn't
know.
seem to be right now anything that they're got a timeline on or anything. Yeah.
Well, we want them right.
And we need Z.
And we need Z, and that's something that could hit any player. You get a bug one night. Like you said, he was practicing yesterday.
Yeah, seemed to be okay at that time. So, okay, one final break, and then we'll come back with final comments or two. Some more texts if you want, 339-0321. We'll check those stats and all. We've got that more coming up as we continue on Game Day on KVNU. Aggies 75 and UNLV 71. So that means Utah State now in this series. They won the first 25 games we ever played against UNLV back in the Tark days and going into it. It was not fun going through all of that. And now since then, the Aggies are 13-9 in the series. And the Aggies have now won, 8 of the last 9 in Logan and have won 8 of the last 10 games they played against Vegas.
That's great.
In the series. And now 10-7 all time in the Mountain West years.
Let's keep it
against
going.
Vegas. All right, one final break, and we'll be right back.
News Talk KVNU, Logan, the voice of Northern Utah, 610 AM and 102.1 FM.
Since 1896, couples throughout Utah have shopped S.E. Needham Jewelers for their diamond engagement ring. We offer our integrity price guarantee on a beautiful selection of unique, high-quality diamond engagement rings. Gals, you'll love our rings, and guys, you'll love our prices. We price our diamonds at internet pricing. Review the web and come see, hands-on, our beautiful selection. Shop and compare. Get S.E. Needham quality at internet pricing, where Utah gets engaged. S.E. Needham Jewelers, middle of the block, at the sign of the clock.
The Young Automotive Group is proud to announce Young Truck and Trailer Center in Cache Valley. Whether it's heavy equipment trailers, horse trailers, race car trailers, or cargo and utility trailers, we're excited to offer some of the finest trailers and flatbed work trucks to Cache Valley. Our team of experts look forward to helping you find the right truck or trailer to fit your needs, with competitive prices offered on every make and model for sale on our lot. With our extensive inventory, you'll find the best deals right here in Cache Valley. Young Truck and Trailer Center, just off Highway 89 in Logan. Think young, drive young.
When it comes to home care, it's important to know you have a choice. If you or a loved one is in need of hospice or home health services, remember that Primrose Home Care and Hospice believes in treating the patient as well as the problem. We work directly with you and your doctor to create a health plan that's catered to your needs. Our team is devoted to providing options in the freedom and safety of your own home. Visit us at primrosecare.com or call to schedule a free consultation. Primrose Home Care and Hospice, your local hospice and home health provider since 2006.
It's never too late or too cold to get rid of that old vehicle. Now is the time to earn extra cash by calling DD Auto and Salvage. Let them pay you for that junk vehicle. DD Auto and Salvage makes it so easy and fast to get rid of your junker vehicles by paying you the most money possible. Pickup is available. If you have metal, DD Auto and Salvage in Logan wants to pay you today. Call 787-1204. That's 787-1204 today. See store for details.
Alpine Home Medical has been around for over 25 years. Can you believe that? Hi, I'm Jay Broadbent. What keeps us coming to work every day? We're passionate about caring for you. From home and bathroom safety to transportation, mobility, recovery, oxygen, sleep, and more, come into any of our 10 locations today and let us take care of you.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
Visit us at alpinehomemedical.com.
KVNU Game Day is back with Aggie Call. Call 753-KVNU or 800-369-KVNU.
And the text line is 435-339-0321. That's always available for you. We're brought to you in part by Alpine Home Medical. What sets them apart is superior levels of quality service they provide for their customers. CPAP supplies, lift chairs, oxygen supplies, and a whole lot more. Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home. Aggies are still well at home in the conference. Like we said, only 3 conference teams are. Boise State won again tonight to stay that way as they beat Nevada, and Nevada's the other team that has not lost a home game yet in this conference. I figured it out before on my pregame that in the preseason, our conference was 68-11 at home. Okay, the
Not
conference
bad.
going in tonight was 15-14 in home games.
That's amazing.
Now, that shows you, too, that you've got some pretty good teams at the top end who can win. And Vegas won at New Mexico, and their only win is on the road. In fact, tonight they came here. They'd only really lost one game away from Thomas and Mack, and I think they'd been like 6-4 at home before tonight. So that was kind of
it's the parity, and when you can go into other places and win, and that's what people are looking at. How many bids is the Mountain West going to get in the tournament? And I think the most recent Lenardi bracketology had 4 teams, and if they keep playing in the right way, there's a chance that maybe there could even be a 5th.
You're gonna have to stretch pretty good to get to 5. And the problem is with 4. Okay, you've got Nevada, Boise State, San Diego State, New Mexico, and then us. You've got 5 kind of looking for 4 maybe in some ways there too.
But getting 5 teams to the dance is an elite number. You're now stepping up above everybody else. 4 would be incredibly impressive.
It would.
But that leads to a question. I know you've got some things here, but this.
No, I don't. I've got you.
Okay.
Your question.
Just as long as you don't start singing Sonny and Cher, I'm okay with that.
People ask me, like, okay, are you going to sing for my birthday? I go, no, you wouldn't want that.
No, that's my gift, is I won't sing.
I'll say happy birthday. That's good enough.
But this came from a 93-15, and really kind of, I'll combine the 2 questions. How does this game help us? And we heard that from Jalen, that it's a confidence booster. But importantly, again, 93-15, what will it take to keep us in the conversation from here on in to get an at-large bid?
You can't slip up.
Yeah.
because San Jose State's out of the top 100. They were inside there for a while. They're now out.
Right.
You can't slip up. And then you've got those games coming up. There was, you can't slip up to Fresno.
No.
That's a road game you're going to have to win to not fall out of there. And you're going to have to, if you don't beat San Diego State, you're going to have to really make a pretty good effort, I think, and not have another 18 to 20-point road loss like we've had in matchups at Nevada and
those
Boise.
are really the three. You've got to protect your home court. You've got to win every game, not just lose a game. You got to win every game. You've got to steal some on the road, especially the ones like you said, like Fresno, that you should.
Because we're not going to play at New Mexico,
and you can't get blown out.
So you've got to have a road win. You've got UNLV is going to have to be a place that you can't slip up there towards the end of the season. Colorado State, you're only going to play them on the road,
so you've
you're
got to
going
get
to win that
one.
game.
Wyoming,
you're going to have to win at Wyoming, and who knows where they're at with their personnel when we finally play them.
It's
over
tough
there.
to play there. But unfortunately, it seems like whenever it gets to the end, and they'll say, well, this team got snubbed, they weren't invited. Well, what happened? And it seems like inevitably they'll always say, well, they played down the stretch pretty well, but they had that big loss. You can't have that, and that's the key. But, like Jalen said there earlier in our post-game show, what does this game do? It's the confidence booster. It's the fact, we kind of got rolled there at the end against Nevada, but we came back. We played a physical, aggressive team, held our own, got the win. That's what it gives you.
And we, again, have not had a losing streak, which is good, too. As soon as you lose, you turn around and win again. And
Absolutely.
all that. And you got to keep that going on Saturday with that home game coming up. So anything else in the text lines?
Just one, and go back to, it says, this comes from 1326. Funk needs to improve inside. He had a lot of looks, but I think Stephen Ashworth kind of addressed that. This is a player that recognized that they were going to collapse on him, and he probably made a few too many passes.
He overpassed a couple of times in the second half, I think, when he had a shot. I think that's absolutely right. Okay, let's do the final stats and finish it off for tonight. We'll be back on Saturday. The Aggies, again, the final stats are always for Cache Valley Bank. So we had Dan Acken with, he played 29 minutes and had 9 points and 9 rebounds. He was 3 of 4 from the field, 3 of 4 from the foul line. He also had an assist. He did have the 3 turnovers. Then Shimon Zapala played the 3 minutes in the first half and did not get any stats except for a turnover. IRJ Idle Rock ended up playing 16 minutes and had 4 points in the game, 1 out of 2 from the field, 2 of 2 free throws. He had a rebound, he had an assist, and he had a steal. Trevin Dorius played, again, the 17 minutes and had 10 points, 4 out of 6, but did not get a rebound. He was 2 out of 3 at the foul line. He had a turnover, a block shot, and a steal. Taylor Funk, 20, all in the first half for his scoring. Yeah. In fact, in the first half, he was 7 for 9. So in the second half, he's 0 for 2 is all the shots he got. So they did really go after him. And the coach said they made some adjustments for that. He was 6 for 9 from 3. He had 6 rebounds. He had 5 assists. He had 2 block shots, and they were both, I think, in the second half, as I remember. And then Max Shulga ended up with a plus 20 on the night. He actually got the best plus minus while he was on the floor. We got things that he was just 1 for 3. All were 3-pointers. He was 6 for 6 at the foul line. He had 4 rebounds. He had 5 assists. He did have 5 turnovers and a steal. Stephen Ashworth, 14 points on 5 of 14 shooting, 3 of 10 from 3, 1 of 1 from the foul line, but 5 rebounds, 9 assists, 3 turnovers in 39 minutes. And then Sean Bairstow, 9 points, 3 of 7 for the field, 1 out of 3 from 3. That 3 that he hit was big. That was a good one in the first half, but boy, he made 2 big shots in the second half. 16-foot fall away out of a timeout when things were getting a little bit hairy there. Kept us with the lead at that time, eventually went by, and then he made the one with 22 seconds to go on the inbounds play, the jumper at the free throw line. 4 rebounds. He had 2 turnovers in the game, and he ended up in 33 minutes. So the Aggies shot 51%. Aggies, again, if they shoot better than the opponents, there's never been a Ryan Odom team lose, except one time, I think, that we've outshot the opponents. So if we outshoot them, that's going to happen. And we ended up shooting 38% second half, but 11 of 25. First time we've been double digits in 3-pointers in a conference game, I think. And we had 16, 18 free throws.
Yeah.
So we've had some of those weird games of free throws. This is a good one. We ended up with the 31 rebounds, but again, 21 assists on 24 baskets. That's amazing. But 21 turnovers, 3 block shots, and 3 steals for the Aggies. Again, for UNLV, their leading scorer was the Hall, who had not played in a conference game. He had 19. He had 2 rebounds. He did foul out of the game, and he had 26 minutes in the contest. And then McCabe had 17. He had 5 of 7 threes. He was really good shooting threes. And 14 for Gilbert. He can drive the ball. Rodriguez, not as much, but Iwaku ended up with 9 points, 4 rebounds in the game. The other big guy, Muwaka, make it. He didn't play much, 3 minutes, and he'd been playing quite a bit the last little bit. And then Johnson off the bench had 2. Their bench did give them a 38-13 edge over the Aggies. Fast break points, 13-7 for Vegas. 14 steals to 3 for the Aggies. 6-3 second chance points. 42 points in the paint, 26 for the Aggies. Points off of turnovers, 27-16, but the Aggies won the game with all of those amazing Cache Valley Bank stats in this game. Okay.
What's great about it, plain and simple, you had some contribution from everybody that played.
And it needed to happen.
And you needed it, and that's why we got the W.
It needed to happen, and it didn't make it all happen. Is like the coach said, he had his moments. It wasn't all perfect. But again, in the end, Utah State 75-71. That's the most important and big perfect thing.
That's the one that matters.
Of the night. So back on Saturday for a 4 o'clock game. Tickets remain for that game. It's not on television in the afternoon. It's just on the Mountain West streaming. So if you're going to enjoy it, go to the Spectrum and see this atmosphere. Students will be great, and John Russell will be up there, and you can enjoy that game. And then we'll be here after the game to talk about it and break it down. We'll be on with Jalen before the game at 3 o'clock to drive you up to the Spectrum on Saturday. So that's it for the sponsors and all. We'll rejoin the Jim Bohannon program, which is now, I think, the Rich Rodriguez Westwood One at Night program, and that's coming up next here on KV, and you will join that in progress. Thanks for joining with us tonight as the Aggies win again at home.